What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Kreative. Go ahead, say it with me. We are back at it again to do what? To create something great. Now, today I'm super excited what I have planned for y'all. We're going to be talking about stop losses and how to protect your capital that you've deployed for your algos out there. Now, if you haven't already, I need you to go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. Now, I'm going to be breaking this Creative View lesson into 4 different lessons. And then after each lesson, we're going to be having a quick checking for understanding quiz just to make sure that y'all are following me. So I need you to go ahead and type it in the comments what you think that answer is and if you believe that you've got it right. So let's go ahead and jump into lesson 1. So lesson 1 is going to be going over talking about what is a stop loss. So the stop loss is our emergency exit plan, right? So a stop loss is an order that automatically sells your position when the price drops to a level that you specify. So the purpose for a stop loss is to limit the losses on a trade. It removes the emotion from the exit decision and it protects your capital from 4 future trades. So plan your exit before you enter. So how it works for a stop loss, we're going to buy here at 105. So this is going to be the premium paid. And we're going to give it $5, right? Or we're going to give it 5% of that stop loss, right? So it's going to be super tight. So we're going to say if it drops down to $100, we're going to have it trigger and then we're going to sell at 100 rather than being able to wish that it's going to bounce from there, right? So this is going to be our support level. If it crashes through the support level, then we rather just protect our capital and then go on to the next trade. So we're going to enter at 100. The stop loss is going to be $100. Excuse me, enter at 105. Stop loss is going to be 100. So $5 per share or 4.8%. If the price drops to 100, you sell your shares automatically are sold. So why use a stop loss? So without a stop loss, if sell, I'll sell if it drops more. Maybe it'll come back. I'll wait a little bit longer. This is temporary. Result, we're down 50%. With the stop loss, my exit is automatic at 100, right? Risk is defined, max $5 per share. Emotions are removed from my decision and capital is protected for the next trade, right? So this is some of the biggest reasons that you want to be able to use a stop loss. For your first loss is your best loss. Excuse me, your first loss is your best loss, right? Because you want to be able to learn from it. You don't want it to be 50% without a stop loss, and with the stop loss, you have 5%. The market is not guaranteed. There's nothing guaranteed about the market, but you can hedge your protection. So live examples with being able to use the stop loss at a 5% level. We're looking at SPY. SPY is the S&P 500, the top 500 companies within the New York Stock Exchange. If we're getting in at 672.97, then at a 5% stop loss, we're looking at 639.32, or 10% is 605.63, right? Risk per share is $33.65. And then we have Apple. Our stop loss at a 5% level is 244, or at a 10% level is 231. And then we have Tesla. If we get in at 397, at a 5% level, our stop loss is 378, or at a 10% level, it's 358. So let's jump into our first quiz. A stop loss automatically blanks when the price reaches your level. Buy more shares. This is not buy the dip. Sell your position or send you alert. So it should do, it sends you alert, but it also sells your positions. The main purpose of a stop loss is to maximize the profit. Interesting. Limit your potential losses, probably. Buy at a lower level. Again, this is not buying the dip. Also, talk about a liquidity sweep, but that's not another conversation here. When should you decide where to place your stop loss? After the trade goes against you? No, because you want to plan before you exit, right? Exit before you enter. Plan your exit before you enter. Before you enter the trade, right? Or when you're ready to sell. Before you enter, homie. Always, always, always. All right, so now we're going to go to the different types of stop losses. Not all stop losses work the same way. We're going to talk about a stop market order. So when the price hits your stop, it becomes a market order. So we're placing it to execute right now. So what does a market order do? It guarantees your execution, but it doesn't guarantee the price. So it will get you out, but it may feel below your stop loss. Best for multi-exit situations, liquid stocks, right? Your S&P 500, SPY, super liquid stock, QQQ, super liquid stock, Apple, super liquid stock, right? Stop limit order. So a limit order, what is it going to do? It's going to guarantee your minimum price, but it's not going to guarantee the execution, right? So these are gaps aren't expected. You want price control, right? That's when you're going to use a limit stop order. So critical, how to execute at bid and ask. So when traders stop trigger, you become the seller. So sellers get the bid price, not the ask price. So an example, executing at, so this is one thing that I just want to make sure I talk about, because like for one of our algos, I was using the stop loss at the ask, but then I noticed that that was a problem. I mean, that's always, sometimes some people like to be able to use it. It's like, all right, this is my market base, I want to, if I goes down lower than this, then get me out of there. But now I started to use it based off of the bid, right? And I'm seeing a little bit more better, less triggers on the stop loss. And let's talk about it here. So when your stop loss, when you trigger a stop loss, you become a seller. So sellers get the bid price, not the ask price. So for an example, your stop loss is at $100, price drops, triggering your stop loss. It's going to be a market order because you want to guarantee the what? Guarantee the exit, not really the price. So you're going to guarantee the exit because you're thinking that it's going to go down a little bit lower. Our bid is going to be 99.90. The ask is going to be 100. You fill at 99.90 the bid, right? The worst wide spreads equals worst fills. So tight spreads, we can get in and out without a problem. Or wide spreads, it's going to be a little bit more of a hiccup, right? With being able to get out, right? With the 50-cent spread versus a 2-cent spread. So trailing stop orders. So a trailing stop, the stop that moves with the price. So we enter at 100, then we trail 5 below. So we enter at $100. Stop moves up and it peaks to 115. Stop is at now 110 because it's trailing 5 below. Now, as soon as it goes down to the 100 level, right? Or stop is at 110 because it peaked, so trailing 5 below. As soon as it goes to 105, it's going to be triggered, and you're going to get out at 105 rather than being able to get out at 100, right? So you made a little bit. So you want to be able to lock in your profit as the price rises. It only moves up, never downs, and it can be an amount or percentage based. So live look at stop execution impacts. So SPY last price is going to be 672.30. The bid price is going to be 672.29. The ask is going to be 672.30, and then the spread is 1 cent, so it's super tight. So what does a tight spread let us know? Is that we can get in and out of the market. It's in and out of the stock really quick. It's high liquidity, high volume, right? So it's very advantageous for us. So if a stop is at 638.68 triggers, the stop went to the market order. Reason we want to get a market order is because I want to guarantee the execution. I don't care about the price as much. I just want to get out because we think that the market is going against us. We're going to fill at the bid, which is going to be 638.67. And then the stop limit is 638.68. May not fill if the bid drops below, right? Then we have Apple. Apple last price was 657.01. The bid price is 657. Ask price is 657.02. Spread is 2 cents. We have, if our stop triggers at 244.16, we're going to use a market order. Reason we're using a market order is because I want to get out. It guarantees the execution, right? Not really the price. So it's going to fill out the bid, approximately 244.14, approximately, right? Or if I use a limit order, and limit order, what does it do? It guarantees the price, not really the execution. So we're going to use the limit order 244, but it may not fill if the bid drops to, if it keeps dropping below. So a stop market order, what does it guarantee? The exact stock price. I wish. It's going to guarantee the execution, being able to get out. When a stop loss trigger, you sell at the bid price. A trailing stop moves up with the price, only moves up, never down, but stays fixed at a level. So it's going to be only moves up, never down. All right, so let's go to our lesson 3, being able to set our stop loss levels, right? Method 1 is going to be percentage based. Simple rule: I'll risk X a percent on this trade. Common examples are going to be 2 to 3%, very tight, day trading, scalping. Anywhere between 5 and 7% is going to be standard swing trading, right? Swing trading or trading that you hold more than a day. 10 to 15% is going to be wide position trading, volatile stocks, and any 20% or wider is going to be long-term investing. But this is crazy. If you have a stop loss at 20%, that's crazy. You get in at 100, so you're telling yourself that, all right, bet if it goes down to $80, get me out. That's crazy. Just on one position, fam. So that's kind of like super tight. I'm like here. I'm not anywhere, not past 15%. I'm not resting 15% on more one position. That doesn't make sense. Yes, I'll give you some room, but not enough to be able to kill the position, right? It's all depending on how you enter to. But nonetheless, let's keep going. So formula, if you want to put this in an algo using Python, is going to be stop price equals the entry times open parentheses 1 minus the stop percentage, then close parentheses. An example would be the entry, which is $100, multiplied by 1, subtract 0.15, which is a 5% stop loss. We're getting out at 95 if it stops based on that. Then we have, you can use ATR base, which is average true range. It measures the typical daily movement. So a stop could be the entry minus the ATR times the multiplier. So here's a few examples. If ATR, SPY ATR at 5, the entry is, entry is $500. One ATR, right, with the $5 is $4.95. This is going to be super tight. Then we have 2 with the multiplier, $4.90, and then we have 3, which is $4.95. But it's almost gonna say like, yeah, bro, you can use it here, but again, it's all depending on like what that multiplier is going to be. So why use ATR? Because it adapts to each stock's volatility. Tesla is volatile. It gets wider stops than KO, which is Coca-Cola, which is completely stable. It's kind of stable. Prevents getting stopped out by normal noise. Or method 3 is going to be technical support based stop. So the price is placed just below a support level, the price floor. Excuse me, didn't want to cough in your ear. So we get in at 105, and then our support level is going to be 100, and then our stop loss is going to be just below because we're going to account for a little bit of bounce. So we're going to say our stop loss is going to be 98. Logic: if the support breaks, your thesis is wrong. Exit. Place the stop slightly below the support to avoid false triggers. Then position sizing with stop loss. So size your position based on your stop loss. So here's a formula for how you can do it. The shares equals the account share divided by the entry divided subtract the stop. So an example would be $50,000. You're going to risk 1%. So the entry is going to be $100. Stop is 95. You're risking 5%. 500. The 5% is divided by $5 is 100 shares. So wider stops equals fewer shares, tighter stops equals more shares. So live look at being able to set your stop loss levels. At a 5% level for SPY, it's at 638.41 if the current price is at 673. But if you're using at 10% stop loss, you're letting it say, all right, I'll let you go all the way down to 605.75. And then just jump into Apple. The current price is $253.89. If you use a 5% stop loss, you're looking at $245. Or if you use a 7% stop loss, you're looking at $239.84. Or just in case the market gets to lose 10% while you're in the position, you're going to say, hey, get me out if it gets to $232.10. So position sizing example would be the account size. Risk 1%. Max loss is $500. Entry is at 638. Stop loss is the 5%. Risk per share is $33.65. The position size is 14 shares. Stop out if we lose 500, 1% of the account. So a 5% stop on a $200 stock would trigger. So 1% is two. All right, quick math. 200 times 190. Big brain. There we go. Why use ATR volatility for a stop placement? It guarantees the profit? Not really. It adapts to each stock's normal movement, that volatility. It makes stops tighter. It's depending on the volatility of the stock. So the best answer would be B. So if you risk $500 and your stop is $5 below the entry, you should buy 50. Oh, I know it was B. I know it was B. It's all right. We learning. I'm only human. I'm a mess. All right. Stop loss mistakes and strategies. So most traders get stops wrong, but in order for us, don't be most traders, right? We want to be able to actually use the stops and make it make sense for us. So mistake ones is stop loss is too tight. We get stopped out by normal market noise. Price drops 2%. It triggers the stop. Then it rallies 10%. You were right, but you got kicked out. Fix, you give the trade more room to breathe. You use ATR or support levels. Mistake two is stop is too wide. Loss is too big when triggered. One bad trade wipes out multiple winners. Risk reward is not as balanced out. Fix, define max risk per trade, 1 to 2% of account, in order to fix when the stops are too wide. Mistake three is moving stops further away. Trade goes against you, you widen the stop. Saying I'll give it more room, hoping, not trading, right? Turning a small loss into a catastrophic loss. Never move your stop further away, only tighten or keep the same. Stop hunting and liquidity gaps. Stop hunting equals price briefly dips to a trigger stops, then reverses. So price, many stops are placed at the 100 liquidity gap. So this is a sweep almost, liquidity sweep, liquidity gap. Then we have a rally to 103. Why it happens? Big players know when retail stop clusters, the round numbers, they push the price to trigger the stops, creating liquidity to buy. How to avoid? Don't pay stops at obvious levels, 150. Use odd numbers like 99.73 instead of 100. Place slightly below the support levels, not right at it. A smart stop strategy is strategy one, move to break even. Once trade is profitable, move the stop to the entry price. Worst case scenario is break even, free trade. Strategy two is trail the profit. As the price rises, tighten the stop to lock in the gains. Let winners run while protecting profits. Strategy three is partial exits on targets. This is just for stocks, or yeah, I'm just gonna say stocks. I mean, there's other assets you can do this to, but nonetheless, let's keep going. Sell half at the first target, then trail on the remainder. Lock in some profit, let the rest ride. I mean, you can do multi contracts too, so I guess that works on option trading too. And then strategy four is going to be time-based stops. Exit if the trade hasn't worked after exit X days. Don't let your capital sit there and die. So danger zones when it comes to stop loss levels. So obvious stop is going to be 670, 675. Everyone puts a stop there. Better stop is going to be at 699.73 below the obvious level. For Apple, obvious levels are round numbers. Again, 255, 260. Better would be 254.73. And then Tesla, obvious 395, 400. Better would be the 394.73. So what I hope that you gained from this is being able to understand how to better use stop losses for your algo strategies. And I'm going to be taking my time when it comes to being able to create new strategies with y'all, right? It's just to really break down and understand and make sure that we're using the correct stops, right? We're using smart stop strategies and not ones that are going to be either too tight, too wide, or moving. I never do this. I'm right here at the too tight, right? Pause. To be able to get this right. So we're going to be able to implement better ways to have our stop strategies when it comes to creating our strats. But nonetheless, it's your boy Kreative. If you did like this video, I need you to go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. If you do have any other questions, please go ahead and drop it in the comments. It's your boy Kreative. I'll be back at it again with another episode.